You'll discover in this book's summary how to stop blaming others for your lack of success in life and in all you do. This summary is taken from the book You Owe You, written by PhD candidate Eric Thomas. Introduction. What does it mean to me? Make the most of your superpower to succeed and find fulfillment in both your personal and professional lives. Many people believe they have no control over the choices that affect their lives. When they are a member of a disadvantaged group, this happens even more frequently. When you are powerless over your circumstances, it is simple to adopt a victim mentality and assign blame to everyone else. Eric Thomas, a motivational speaker, is adamantly opposed. He flips that thinking around and exhorts you to be fully accountable for your situation. Why? Being independent, prosperous, and wonderfully fulfilled is something you owe to yourself. Considering how intimidating it could seem, let's phrase it this way instead: your goal is to name yourself the CEO of your life. Spend some time figuring out your talents and using them to achieve your goals. This path will lead you to your why, the inherent, intangible aspect of your life that you cherish above all else. Your sense of fulfillment from taking care of your family, finishing a puzzle, adding to knowledge, or helping your community can be your why. Your talent and passion will drive you to perfection if they are combined with your mission. So let's start now. Principle number 1. Take charge of your life. Eric Thomas was a troubled young man who had fled his home to escape family pain even before he started to regularly visit NBA locker rooms. Chances were scarce when I was growing up. Black people had been forced into specific areas and occupations by segregation, which had come before slavery. The highest aspiration for residents of his community was employment on Detroit's auto assembly lines. However, Thomas's tale was altered when he started running his own life. Based on his own experience, Thomas offers the following advice for taking charge of your own life. Releasing your victim attitude is the first step. You owe no one anything. Playing the victim will make you less able to take action. Recognize your shortcomings and accept responsibility for them. You can oftentimes be your own worst enemy. Here are some useful advice that expands on this notion and aids in your victim blaming process. Start by taking responsibility for your choices, including your errors. After deciding that you are in control of your own destiny, establish objectives and benchmarks to guide you. Next, avoid acting rashly. You'll be able to decide what sequence of actions you need to take to finish each work with clarity and direction. Create a framework and a schedule, then firmly adhere to both. Third, if you have standards, there should be no justification for not upholding them. Last but not least, check around before assuming that you are alone yourself. Find those who are motivated to see you succeed and ask them for assistance, direction, and leads. Recognize when you need assistance and draw on the wisdom and experience of good individuals. Don't assume that everyone wants you to fail too quickly. The defining act that elevates you to life's CEO is letting go of victimhood. When you arrive, you're prepared to don your cape and unearth your superpower. Use your superpower to go in the direction of your goal. How can you decide which tool would be the most crucial for your path now that your future is in your hands? What is your superpower, in other words? It takes more than just choosing what you are good at to discover your superpower. It involves movement. Here is how to locate it. When you accomplish some things, they give you wings. List them. Your superpower should invigorate you and help you focus. You're naturally drawn to it and can immerse yourself in it for hours. For instance, when Thomas was younger, he was inspired by the eloquence of famous people like Barbara Walters, James Earl Jones, and Maya Angelou. He was pulled to speaking even though he wasn't aware of it at the time. He might have had a superpower. Once you've determined what your superpower might be, the next logical step is to use it. See where you can get better by practicing. Continue to improve your abilities until you become completely dependent on them. Begin to fall in love with what you're doing and develop a close-knit daily obsession with your superpower. While all of this is progress, it is not sufficient. There is no denying that you require more than just power. To have an effect, you must know how to use it. To accomplish this, you must discover your why, that intrinsic, immaterial aspect of your life that you value above all else. In order to evaluate those things that are most important to you, block out the noise. What do you value most? Ask yourself. Is it your sense of independence, your freedom, your intellectual curiosity, your family, a cause, or a strong desire to help your community? The intensity required to elevate and advance your work comes from knowing what you value and concentrating on it. Finding your superpower is the best thing because it naturally guides you to your purpose. Your purpose is where you're using your abilities to the fullest and living your best life. Make a strategy and a framework that will let you use your superpower every day. No matter if it's a job or volunteering, look for opportunities to develop your skills. Know your strengths, recognize your weaknesses, and investigate what others in your field are doing. You can achieve miracles if you have a laser-like focus like this. And we'll discuss that in the section after this. Put yourself in a position where a miracle is possible. Thomas didn't go to the conference for a paycheck. Instead, he accepted the invitation to introduce the well-known African-American psychologist Dr. Naeem Akbar. But Murray Edwards and Rodney Patterson, who admired his delivery, were drawn to the passion he put into the work. The two men were in charge of the Black Male Initiative, a program at the predominantly white Michigan State University that supported black men. Thomas was hired as a tutor for young black students. He received a fellowship offer while still a student at Michigan State and went on to earn his master's and PhD. What caused all of this, then? On the surface, it seems like Thomas just got lucky, but he had been working hard for years and making the most of every chance to show off his talent. He would show up uninvited to gatherings and negotiate his way into listening to the keynote speaker. When he gave sermons in churches, assisted students in passing their GED exams, or experienced conflict in his personal relationships, he continued to work, learn, and meet people, some of whom later became business partners, mentors, and collaborators. Along the way, these individuals introduced him to greater opportunities, and he later entered the corporate world. Several things in this stand out. First of all, he could practice and improve his abilities while working these free gigs. The performances later evolved into networking events. They began inviting him to their locker rooms to speak with their NBA, NFL, and corporate peers once the kids he inspired became successful. Thomas was even paid by some people out of their own pockets. When the businesses and teams realized how valuable he was, they began to pay him more and invite him to speak to them. You'll be prepared to seize opportunities when you find yourself in a situation where a miracle could happen if you have a lot of practice, connections, and the ability to picture what success looks like. Here, it's important to note that miracles are planned. They are the outcome of your willingness to consistently and intentionally use your gifts until things start to happen, however unlikely it may seem. After that, you continue working. That is how you enter the realm of miracles. 4. Become a triple threat. You need to step up your game to take advantage of opportunities once you've put yourself in the position to receive a miracle. You need to develop the triple threat mentality that Thomas refers to in order to become a powerful force for your beliefs. A professional who combines expertise in their field with the capacity to deliver and express themselves with uncanny clarity is known as a triple threat. Where do you find one? You must embrace knowledge first. The new currency is knowledge. Your mind is like an ATM for knowledge. Not all learning requires returning to school. Read everything you can about your craft, theories, structures, and masters of it. Attend events, engage in conversation, and make use of the internet's free resources. Studying yourself and your family will help you avoid any recurring habits that might get in the way. Understanding the language of your profession is one of education's most important components. There is a code for each trade. Lawyers need to be aware of the technical terms hidden in legalese. The language used by those in the finance industry is commonly understood. There are specific languages for different fields, communities, and cultures. If you can speak their code well, your peers will accept you. They'll also feel at ease enough to impart new information to you. Do you work in a field where the majority of the people speak a language you don't understand? Be at ease. Find translators to translate for you who are familiar with the code of your domain. This will present opportunities that you had no idea existed. It's not necessary to give up your individual style in order to understand the code. Know the language being used in the space, be aware of the traits you've inherited from your background, and combine these to create your individual expression. Your performance will make you a triple threat as the second skill. Whatever talents you have, develop them so that others are moved by your excellence. Expression is the third factor. You will enter the mainstream if you are eloquent in your writing, speaking, or other forms of communication. It will be in their best interest to pay attention to you and comprehend what you are saying. You will advance to new domains as you gain mastery of your subject and proficiency. In summary, becoming a triple threat requires you to expand your knowledge, improve your performance, and express yourself clearly and expertly. The fifth key concept is to turn yourself into a company. When Thomas began to receive compensation for his speaking, he did so with a spirit of thanks. He considered himself successful when a company offered him $140,000 plus benefits for 14 engagements each year. He should demand more, a mentor advised. Unexpectedly, he discovered that people were willing to pay. He had changed from a person to a company. It's acceptable that not everyone wants to use their superpower to generate income. You would need to do at least the bare minimum to support a cause even if you were trying to advance it. You have to approach this like a business person. You must complete the following. Be accessible first. That means showing up, being visible, and having an online presence in the modern world. You need to be discoverable so that people can do business with you. Next, always keep in mind that perception is everything. Tell the world about yourself and your goals. Continue telling that story. The world will perceive you the way you desire as you live out your purpose. There aren't always ideal circumstances, of course. Utilize your current situation and resources to begin. Moving forward will make the path more obvious. When an experiment succeeds, analyze your strategy and create models until you have a template. The next piece of advice is to research the options, determine whether you can add any value, and customize the solutions to meet your requirements. Without a publishing deal, Thomas and his group were able to sell 300,000 copies of their books. They used any available mailing services and did it from the trunks of their cars. And finally, what you're worth: keep an eye on the market rate, but be aware of your own rate and demand it. As you acquire more knowledge and experience, keep increasing your rate. Being distinctive has advantages. Everyone wants to learn from what you bring to the table because it is new. Profit from the fact that you are the left-handed pitcher in a right-handed game. Final verdict. You owe no one anything. You owe them. You lose your victim mentality and overcome your disadvantages when you take charge of your life. Take some time to identify your superpower, that special ability that can be developed with practice and commitment. Applying your talent will create space for your purpose. You can maximize your opportunities and succeed as a performer who appreciates their value in society and on the market when you work in this field. You can become a triple threat by realizing your value, gaining knowledge, excelling at your craft, and finding your voice. Once that happens, you'll be in the miraculous zone and can start to make money. The work you'll be doing will be fulfilling and will improve everyone's experience more than anything else. There is more to this fantastic book by Eric Thomas, so if you're interested, click the link below to purchase it. You owe you. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel and tell your loved ones about the video.